Hello guys, so this is 13th meeting on Introduction to Semantics subject. Our topic today is about meaning and morphosyntax part 2. It's about verb meaning and argument structure. Let's move on to the next slide. So as the core of the clause, verb play an important role in the interaction between meaning and syntax. This is because verbs are typically accompanied by nouns which refer to the participants in the event or state that verb describes. These participants receive a range of morphosyntactic markers, case suffix, subject or object markers, and etc. specifying which participant is the actor or instigator of the action, which the undergoer of the action, as well as other possible roles. In English, these distinctions are made clear by grammatical relation, the nouns coding, or as subject, object, or indirect object of the verb. In some other language, the job of indicating who act on whom is done by affixes or particle, which without any system of grammatical relationship. We will see example of both types of arrangement in this section. Given a situation in which a car hit a tree, why is it that we must describe this as the car hit the tree and not as the tree hit the car? Or again, why can we convert into A to A, 1A into 1B and 1C and 2A into 2B but not 2A into 2C? I'm going to give you the example. A, I gave the bone to the dog. B, I gave the dog the bone. C, the dog was given the bone by me. This is number 2. A, I sent the chimp to the cage. I sent the chimp. The cage was sent the chimp by me. So similarly, what is the last sentence in 3 are ungrammatical? It's just like John opened the door with a key. The key opened the door. The door was opened by John with a key. The key opened the door by John. Traditional picture thematic roles. The problem of understanding the relationship between a verb and its argument is often talked about the problem of the syntax-semantics interface. This is a term used mainly in generative grammar by Chomsky, the theoretical tradition in linguistics and grammar, in which these questions have mostly been explored. Generative grammar postulates the strict division between different components of this grammar, syntax, phonology, semantics, and so on, each of which is assumed to have its own explanatory principles and structure. The following list, based on the one in Kearney 2007, show the commonly assumed set of roles. Agent is the initiator of the action. Experiencer, the entity that feels or perceives something. Theme or patient, entity that undergoes an action, undergoes motion, is experienced or perceived. Goal, entity toward which motion takes place. Recipient, subclass of goal for verbs involving the change of position. Source, entity from which motion takes place. Place and location is a place where the action occurs. Instrument, object with which an action is performed. Beneficiary is one of whose benefit an event took place. Problem with thematic rules. The motivation of postulating a thematic hierarchy was the existence of cases where it is fairly easy to decide what role to assign an argument to. In John, agent kills Mary as a theme. For instance, the identity of the role couldn't be more obvious, but there are many occasions where things are much less clear-cut, and where we could assign an argument to several thematic roles. For example, the subject could be analyzed as both agent, as the initiator of the action, and theme, entity undergoing motion. Proto-roles. Doughty in 1991 proposed a solution to some of the problems with thematic roles. The first component of Doughty's solution was the suggestion that the different participant roles are simply not discrete categories at all, but rather are cluster concepts like the prototype of Rose and her follower. The second aspect of Doughty's proposal was the thematic roles are based on entailment of word meaning. The verb entailment are those propositions that must necessarily be true whenever the verb itself is true. For example, consider the subject argument, Gavrilo. This is made by Gavrilo. Subject argument, verb murder, nominate, and interrogate. Gavrilo murder / nominates / interrogates / the archduke. These verbs share the following entailments. Volition, Gavrilo act volitionary. Intention to perform the act named by the verb. Gavrilo intended to murder, nominate, or interrogate the archduke. These were things that just happened as a side effect of what he was doing. Causation. Gavrilo caused some event to take place that involved the archduke and motion or internal change. Gavrilo either moved or changed in some external, not just mental way in performing the action. So Gavrilo would be classified as an agent in all three contexts. Not all subject arguments, however, share this entailment. Doughty gives the following verb as example. Contributing properties for the agent proto-law, contributing properties for the patient proto-role. Yeah, I think that's all for the brief description about semantic in part 13. So see you on the next session. Bye-bye.